For those of you guys who don't know, Douglas Lovelace is one of the mentors in our mentorship program, and he's in the current group right now, and he's also going to be part of the summer mentorship group. We've asked him to come on and lend some of his tips and advice. Just worked on everything. Amazing guy. Thanks, buddy, for joining. And Steve Lee as well, who is also just amazing and also part of the current mentorship group and will be part of the summer mentorship group. But one of the common themes that I've seen this week is that people don't get access, it seems like, to professional level comments, because one of the things that people are always surprised about when I respond to emails and to the submissions that people do, they're like, oh, wow, thank you. You know, it's great that you can, you know, it's flattering. Sometimes people thank me for like setting out the time to do this, but yeah, I enjoy this stuff. This is what the whole platform is about. But that they haven't had exposure to professional level comments, right? Because we come, like, you know, Doug and Steve come from the production side of things where we have to make these things work. So we're coming at it with some comments that maybe you haven't heard before, and we talk about composition and drawing and camera angles and all the things involved with storytelling. And so I find that people are somewhat surprised that the comments that come down and the fact that they're actually talking to working professionals. I wish that were more common, because if that were the case, then there would be hopefully a higher caliber and more artists that are qualified to do these things, which is part of our mission, right? We want to get you guys to becoming pros and get you to the goals that you want. So that's always been really fun. So I think this is a really fun, healthy exercise. I hope you guys are enjoying it in that intro course. Well, let's randomly pull up this one that just got submitted here from, let's pull up a name here, Site Warden. Thanks for submitting something, Captain America and Superman. So hopefully you guys like the subject matter. It's let me open this and see if I can get it bigger. Yeah, okay, slightly bigger here. So these are common things I like to point out when we're doing sequences like this is, you know, how we actually get into the sequence, and the establishment of the scene is actually really, really important. So a couple of things that I've been pointing out to people too is making sure that your establishing shots are really, really clear. I think that was pretty good. This like red stripe that comes in here, I'm assuming that's Superman with the cape. So what I would probably suggest is that this opening shot, let me see, I can actually make it bigger. Okay, cool. This opening shot actually be slightly wider and maybe lowering the camera a little bit to show more of the cityscape. And that might help establish where we are. Like, is this a city? Is it a countryside? What kind of cafe are they meeting at? And it might actually help when Superman comes in here that there's more space in the frame to show that like an object flew in. And then hooking that up here where they actually enter, it looks like the way you're composing this, you got I'm assuming this is Captain America's head right in front of the door where Superman enters. Like, I would probably move around let's assume you could talk about this a number of ways. In terms of the camera, you just orbit the camera to the left shoulder of Captain America, and that way you would probably end up putting him in the center or on screen right, and then the door would stay on screen left. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. But what you're doing is you're composing very clearly for who's entering, and then because it looks like is that Batman here in the background? It looks like you're composing more for him. Like, my eye first goes here, but then really it seems like the subject is Superman actually entering and then walking over to where Captain America is. So just a couple of quick tips on that. Otherwise, execution looks good. The shots look great. And yeah, very nice and clear. So all good stuff there. All right, let's move on to another one. Oh, awesome. Jay Broken just submitted something. I'll move up to this one, which looked pretty cool too. Nico drawing. Now, I don't know if anybody's here present, so if you are, cool. How about chime in, say hello, unmute yourself, and we can talk about your drawings.
Yeah, I think Site Warden is here, so if you,
nice.
if you have the ability to mute yourself, go ahead and say hi and give us your thoughts on how you on the whatchamacallit, my brain just crashed on me. Your experience so far with the submission.
So pulling this up real quick from Nico Drawing, Let me see if I can make this bigger too. These are really fun. Let me see. I can zoom in even more. This looks like assignment 1. Great. You know what I love about this is the simplicity of your drawings, which I've been pointing out to people too, that it can be very simple. Like, you don't have to overwork the drawing. In fact, I encourage you guys to work really loose and rough at the beginning stages, and then going in once you understand what the shot is, and then tighten it up, because you can always add more tone or clean up the line work later. So this is a nice example of just clear, simple drawings. That's really what you're going for. Clarity is always something we talk about. I think story-wise, there are some things that I'm a bit confused about. I think some of these shots are working well. Like this second shot, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. It looks interesting that there's like a couple alien guys there, and they're looking out what I think is Earth and like a rocket ship. But then right next to it, there's a guy who's looking up at the stars or what. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. So that's where storytelling wise, you might want to put them in a better camera angle to highlight the setting of where they are. It could be like the story like Little Prince. I don't know. You could interpret it in a number of ways. This kind of stuff where you have like the word bubbles or the thought bubbles, it kind of works in comics, but to do it in a storyboard, the final product is going to be like a narrative film or narrative project. So either there is dialogue where somebody says something or narration, or you have to sell it visually. And this could be a style that you choose, like Scott Pilgrim, that type of movie where like things pop up on screen, or not. So just be careful with doing these kinds of word bubble things. All right, let me go. There's more stuff here from you, Nico. Let me pull up Superman and
Steve.
Captain. Can you hear me?
Hey,
yes, we can hear
Steve is in the house.
Oh.
So,
all right, we got you on, buddy.
Yeah, what I did was I went back to the voice and video on the setting and hit back to default settings.
All right.
Yeah, Discord can be weird with that stuff sometimes. Awesome. Glad to have you here, Steve. We'll let you keep on going, and hopefully I can...
Sorry about that, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just sharing some artwork. Let me go back to that. And I think, this is pretty informal. If you guys want to go ahead and ask any questions or any thoughts that came up as we're talking, take advantage of the fact that Steve is here, and hopefully we'll get Doug on too. But I was going through Nico's stuff, and I think this is the Captain America Superman exercise. This is nice, lovely drawings. Oh, see, again, this is, it's the same artist who's doing this word bubble idea. The way you're executing it is cool, but just, be careful with these kinds of things, because what you show on the storyboard is going to appear on screen, right? So if that is your intention, great. But if you're trying to, write in dialogue and you have coffee, right? Like he says it here, you'd probably want to label that under the panel or in the subtitle on top of the frame. And the other thing, these two compositions look really similar. Let me go out. So if you cut one of these frames to the next one, you're going to get like a jump cut. It's going to look like Superman has switched places with Captain America. Like even the background looks really, really similar. Like they're both against like chalkboards or something, or on a flat background. I guess there's a different background there. So just be careful with that. And then, this image looks pretty cool.
Am I here?
We got him.
Yeah,
we got them both. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Hello.
Let's get to Steve.
Sorry, Sergio. Been trying to troubleshoot this. Okay.
So we got them both in
So-
here. Let's do this.
Yeah, well, what I was saying, I guess this would be a good time to reintroduce you guys, because Steve Lee, maybe can you give us a little bit of your background and what you're doing, and then we'll go to Doug after.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. I've been an animator, storyboard artist, and director for the past 30 plus years. Worked in a lot of places. Industrial Light and Magic, Sony, Dreamworks, PDI, LucasArts, Lucas Animation, and you name it. Marvel. Yeah, I've been to many places, and the storyboarding for close to 20 years, and doing 2D and CG animation. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, and I'm teaching too.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we're very lucky to have Steve Lee, and then you guys worked together, Steve and Doug, on Star Wars Rebels. Was that the first place you met each other?
Yes.
No.
Oh, great.
Yes.
And so I guess with that, I'll introduce Doug. Tell us a little bit about your background too, for those of you guys who don't know.
Well, I'll just it's the same as everything Steve said, only switching some of the names around here and there, pretty much. No, me. I'm an artist, and I've always been a visual artist. And at a certain point in my adventures, my drawing chops and my love for storytelling and cinematic storytelling, I had the opportunity to get into animation, and then I screwed around with that for many years, trying to see if that was a viable way to live. And then suddenly, one day, it did become a viable way to live. And I was lucky to work on a lot of great stuff. Steve and everyone there at Lucasfilm was amazing. And I've worked on CGI projects like the Dragons CGI series, How to Train Your Dragons, and Rebels, and a few other things. The Venture Brothers, Illumination stuff, Tinkerbell. So I've just been lucky to work on a lot of different kinds of things that that gave me a chance to just learn from everyone around me and apply my love of storytelling and cinema to this blessed industry.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, thanks, guys. It's super lucky to have you, and it's
That speech was a little screwy because I've been trying to fix the technical issue. Anyway.
and yeah, and we're all part of the mentorship program. So that's just one cool thing that I was saying earlier. It's somewhat surprising to me how rare it is for people to get access and have professional feedback, and we're hoping to change that, of course, through the program, because I feel like that's the best way to learn. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but my skills really, I guess I should say my confidence really shot up when I had somebody over my shoulder, and directors and just other people who helped mentor me and show me, like, hey, you got to fix this, do this, change that. And it was just very hands-on, and they told me things I had to learn and read and watch, like films I should watch and study. And just over the years, I really like this stuff, so I enjoy all of those things, and that's where I got better because some people taught me how to do that. I don't know if you guys recommend any other ways that people can learn how to get into this.
Well, I never did any kind of project that I didn't come out of it knowing so much more than when I went into it. This continuous education. You keep working and you keep learning all the time. Yeah.
It is. Sir, I've known you for probably 20 years, and I totally agree with what you just said, because you learn a lot from your directors working over you, telling you what to do on certain things that you don't know, right? So yeah, I totally agree that it's a learning process always. It's always a learning process.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go ahead and jump into a few more reviews, this time with Steve and Doug there as well, and we can do that.
Great. What's the best way to do that? Should we individually go into?
I would say the same thing as what we've been doing. Sergio, share your screen. You'll bring up the imagery.
Okay.
Have a little, say something about it, and then Steve and Doug can also chime in with their 2 cents as well.
Hell yeah. Well, we're getting submissions as we speak. Awesome. Jay Broken has put something in here. Let me scroll up a little bit. And I gave some notes earlier today, so those are some of my submissions. How about this one from Bianca? Let's pull this one up. Let me see if I can make it larger. This one is, so Steve and Doug, there's a couple of like story assignments that we're giving out in this particular course, and one of them is that grandma gets fired from her job. It's this little story scenario, kind of a riff off one of the other things that we actually do in the mentorship. And I guess this is a submission from Bianca. Let's take a look at this. These are great.
Is it one of the assignments?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our third assignment in the intro class. This is one of the submissions.
Really? Oh.
These are really nice.
Mhm.
Let me scroll down to the next row here. I have a couple of like common things that I point out is like I feel like there's a tendency for people to compose really tight. I'm not sure why that is, but I feel like kind of artists that are getting into storyboarding always compose tight. So like these, an example would be this. I might widen the camera just a little bit, maybe even 20%. And here too, I wouldn't go so tight so soon unless you're really trying to make a point about an expression or something, or detail. But I feel like in a lot of these shots, that seems to be one common thing that I see in a lot of like younger artists is that a lot of the composition they pull out, and we can see if that's the case here. And not always. I mean, I think there's some nice variety going on. But maybe like this one here, we're kind of cutting off grandma at the bottom. So just one thing to look out for, I would say, Bianca, if you're
Well,
catching this.
if I can chime in on that point, Sergio.
Yes.
So what we're talking about is shot composition. So every time you put something in a frame, you learn to think about, why am I putting it in the frame? Why am I framing it that close? Would I be better if I framed it differently? And that's definitely the kind of thinking that we cultivate through these exercises. We're learning how to storyboard, that every shot, every panel is a composition, and every composition is a story in itself. So yeah, so you learn that stuff, like what Sergio was just saying. Maybe you don't want to be that tight, that close right off the top, but you're thinking about it as you do it. So, right? Makes sense?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
Anything you want to
another
add,
thing
Steve?
too-
Yeah,
Or Chad?
well, I do want to say
Okay.
something though, for Bianca. Yeah. So, is this her first go at it? Is this the first version of it? Is that it?
I think this was the first version.
Believe so, yeah.
I
okay.
haven't seen another one come through.
Okay, well, as you know, I do understand about some artists who draw tight when they are presenting their first version of the storyboard, the first pass, and I am guilty of that too when in the past, and but I always say this: if you take too long to draw a panel on your first pass, like I say, you take more than a few minutes. After you read the script, after you understand what you're doing, after you go through some thumbnails, and then you draw your first pass, you take too long on it, then yes, you're spending too much time cleaning it up or making it look too tight. Yeah. You should always think about the about the efficiency of your time too, because it is about creativity. But sometimes we draw too tight, and if you draw too slow, then you're going to you're going to go away from being more efficient in how you board.
I really like the way you use tones in all of these panels, because it's very easy on the eye. You can immediately see you've got lighting that is expressive, like in that rim light on her coming through coming out of the elevator or whatever, right there. Yeah. So that is really nice to see. Tones are the easiest thing. Well, take a little bit of time, but they really do clarify a rough drawing and the composition of the drawing. So these look great. And I would also say these look, as far as your shot selection, in your storytelling, every one of these shots is solid. And I can immediately see the story you're trying to tell. So finessing this on more passes means going into each one of those shots, seeing whatever you want to do with it, acting poses or frame it differently or just finesse it. But this is a great first pass. Beautiful.
Nice.
One of the things to go with your tight framing comment, Sergio, like if we look at the profile shot, right? So there's two different things that are kind of going, like if we want to look at that one specifically, that are contradicting each other, right? Because the tighter you get with a shot, right, the closer you get in on somebody, the more intimate and more into their head you're trying to get, right? Conversely, if we're looking at a shot like this, the more profile you get, the more disengaged you're supposed to become, right? So when you have something that's maybe as tight as that, but then we have a profile, they're kind of butting heads with each other in that sense, versus having something where, like, if you've got the profile but maybe they're like drawn way back, then you have you're using that disengagement to kind of create a unique type of shot. So maybe for something like this shot here with her sadness, maybe you want to go with something that's a little bit more of a 3/4 if you want to be that tight, because then we're still getting some of her face. We're able to get into her head a little bit more and be with her in that sadness that she's feeling at this point in time, just based on this profile expression that we have.
Right on. Cool. Great. Well, good stuff.
Great work.
All right.
So,
Let's.
Very nice.
I'm just going to scroll up to the next one. How about we go to Bebop?
we got Bebop.
Whoa.
All right. These are looking
Let's see
cool.
if we can find somebody though. Let's see if we can find somebody who's here, because Bebop's not here.
Okay.
So scroll up a little bit more.
Sure. Stop me when you see somebody.
Keep going.
Madison?
Madison. Yeah, we got
In the
Madison
house?
here,
Hey.
I believe. Yep. So Madison, if you want to unmute yourself and say a couple of things, your experiences with this as well, feel free to do that. Become and be part of that conversation. Or if you want to do it via text, that's fine as well. I've got that up, and I can always share what you're saying with everybody too. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the.
All right. Be brave.
What do
Yeah,
we
we're
got?
putting you on the spot. These are looking great. You know, one thing I appreciate, I really like simple and clear drawings. I think, you know, I appreciate fancy rendering and stuff too, but it seems like over the years I've just really been drawn to, like, just the more simple the idea and the more clear that you can show it, I just really like that stuff. Maybe that's a personal preference. So I love the way that you're not overworking the expressions. They seem to be nice and loose. And I like this shot. There's not quite understanding what the story is here. Looks like there something. Is this a restaurant scene or a bar scene? So I think maybe some clarification on the location could help a little bit. The one that I'm slightly confused about is this first one. Maybe you guys can help me out, or Madison, you let us know what you were thinking. Is this a? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Someone's sick? Is that someone sick with a thermometer? Is that what's going on?
That's what I think as well.
Is that what it? Yeah, I thought like maybe they're bringing soup, or I almost at one point.
I think it's
Madison's
a
confirmed
really an intricate conspiracy, and he just poisoned her, and he's gonna walk away, trying to get away with the crime, but anyway.
Madison's confirmed it. It is supposed to be sick on the couch.
Okay. There you go.
Gotcha. Okay.
But no, I saw that. I knew that's what that was. I'm just kidding. I mean, I could see there's a sick person with the thermometer, and that's great considering how loose the drawing that is.
Yeah.
I immediately understood the story. Yeah.
That chicken soup coming his way.
Yeah. I wonder, how could we make this somewhat? Because I had a little bit of difficulty reading this at first. I wonder, would it help if like this is somebody in a nurse outfit, like they're in that wouldn't make quite sense if somebody's at home, but maybe if we saw a bunch of like pills or like medicine on the like coffee table.
I think this goes back to one of the things that you mentioned too with the previous one, is that the shot's really tight. So because the shot's really tight, you're not able to fully get something that might help with that additional stuff, like a table that has Kleenex on it and
Right.
like a NyQuil or something, right?
Cool. Let me see. This one too, I'm also slightly confused about. I guess, well, I see a bottle, and is this like a bar scene where people are, at a party or something like that? And then seems like my eye goes right here to the center of this character. I'm not quite sure what what the story is, what the expression is. So I wonder, a couple of things that I can think of is.
It is someone at a party, according to is what Madison is saying.
Gotcha. So maybe the setting would help too. What kind of a party? Is it a birthday party? Is it at a at a bar or a nightclub? And I think there's some kind of story going on here, and I wonder just the pose. Maybe the body language is somewhat confusing to me. That, or how can we make it clear? Maybe that's something that we can ask here. Is like, what is the story? Is the person like at the wrong party? Is it that they feel out of place where everybody else is like having fun? I'm not quite sure. So that's one thing.
What do you think, Doug? Steve?
Well, I would think that if I were looking at what is in a way kind of, a rough pass for a story, I would want it to be pitched. I would want the artist to be telling me the story and pitching the images that she's created for her shots, or else I want to actually see a script or lines of a script describing the action to clarify a little more what's going on, where we are, what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems, I guess it also looks like this is a related story too, right? Maybe that's a question for you, Madison. It's like, are they related? Like somebody got sick, then they're traveling, then it looks like they're at some kind of a movie.
Madison says not really.
Okay, cool.
I think I get it. The sick person is delirious, and these are all of her hallucinations.
Yeah, we're gonna make a story out of it.
Dream sequence.
Cool.
But no, I mean, I agree. I think we're not seeing a continuity connecting these images, so we're not sure if these are beat boards or if they're supposed to work as a continuous story.
Well, in this particular assignment, Doug, Steve, just to give you a little more context on that, it's supposed to be single panel imagery, so it's just supposed to be able to be the entire thing told in one story. So they don't necessarily need to be connected to each other.
Got it. Yes. Right
on. Well, cool. Thanks, Madison. Shall we?
Let's see if we can do one more, because I know Steve and Doug, you guys have to hop off here in a bit. We're getting close to our other meeting time.
Right. Oh man, we went a little bit over. Okay.
Because we had the audio issues, so we wanted to make sure we got. Yeah.
So, RC, are you in the house? Should we go to another one?
RC is here.
Hey, buddy.
RC is here. RC, if you want to unmute yourself, give us a little thing. Feel free to chime in.
Cool, man. I love it. So I think you heard my word bubble comment before, right? I think for storyboards in particular, I think it's a good idea to put the dialogue like either underneath the panel, unless this is a visual motif that you're going to actually have inside your movie or your project that you're working on, right? Because that's what it says to me, that this is actually up on screen where the whole audience will see it. If your intention was that this is like the internal dialogue or something that the character says, then I would probably just do it under the panel or over the panel with a subtitle that you write on there. You can, I'll even write dialogue with 2 dots, colon, and then what the dialogue is. And let me scroll through this. Now, is this part of the story, or these drawings didn't get uploaded correctly? That's also something that you might want to consider. And then this is, to me, the most awesome thing that you have here is you said this is your first storyboard ever. So, dude, congrats. This is so great that you're doing this stuff and really attempting it. And I would love to hear what you thought. What did you think going into it? Because I remember when I was like really starting out, I thought I knew what I was doing, But when I got notes back from from my directors and stuff working on it, they just went to town and really knew that I didn't know what I was doing, and they pointed it out to me. And so not that I'm saying that's your case. I think this is actually a pretty nice first pass. Like, it's nice and loose. You know, you're doing compositional stuff here, so I think that's really great. Let me pull out one image in particular. You know what I think is cool, since you're just starting with this stuff, is your shot variety seems to be great. Like, I can tell this is a down shot, right? Unless, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, the bird's eye, huh?
Yeah, and then you move to, like, you know, two shot. You know, you got your horizon. So these are all really, you know, strong things that I think are great. So even this one is different. You know, I think they cut well, right? If I put this together. You know, and then I tell everybody too, right? You guys, I'm sure would agree, like, we all have to practice our drawing. And if you felt like, oh, it was somewhat difficult to, you know, create the actual drawing, well, that's okay. You know, you just have to, you got to work at it, and it takes time, and you practice and you practice and you practice and you practice. And after a while, you get better at it and you get faster at it. And that's the way you learn. What I think is important is that, did you have fun? Did you enjoy this process of storytelling? So,
Yeah.
you know, because to me,
They said that they had a lot of fun with it.
all right. Because, yeah, I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but like, once I got bit by the story bug and I got to manipulate a scene, and like, oh, I get to move the camera around. I get to choose what shot this is. I just loved it. Just fall in love with that stuff.
Oh, same here, Sergio. And, you know, I've heard it said storyboarding on a show or on any kind of a intensive project. They say, isn't it a lot of pressure? And I'm like, yeah, it is. That's why I like it. I like the pressure.
Hell yeah.
You have to like the pressure. You have to put the pressure on yourself up to the point where it, you know, interferes with your health.
Right.
One
Yeah.
of the things one of the things I really liked about these panels too is that, like, even though you have, like, it's you got a lot of sketchiness in there, right? It didn't prevent the shots, the compositions from not being clear. The shots were still really clear. I could tell what was an OTS. I could tell when your shot changed, select, you know, a three shot or otherwise, right? And that's tough, especially for a first time. So definitely good job on that.
Yeah.
Right on.
That was a nice shot.
Well, thanks, guys. Maybe this is a good spot to let you guys bounce out. I know there's the mentorship meeting later on, and then tomorrow we're going to have one with another group. But this was mainly just an opportunity for us to connect and say hello.
Absolutely. And then next week we're going to have another one of these meetings. This week we did it with Steve and with Douglas. Next week we're going to do it with two of our other mentors that are going to be part of the program, Eric and Lincoln. So
Awesome.
It's going to be really, really fun. And then we'll have a Q&A as well with all of our mentors in a couple of weeks too. So, but yeah, thank you guys for coming to this review event here. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up? Like anything about certain portfolio streams?
Oh, yes. By the way, so we're sponsoring a live portfolio event that's going to happen on July 9th. So if you guys have not seen those emails or signed up, I encourage you to do so. In fact, let me see if I can find the link for that.
Well,
Well,
Hob, I know, has been itching to toss that announcement officially up, and I think we can. So I'll give him the green light to do it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let me pull this up.
And we'll get that up here in the Discord too.
Give me 1 second, and I'll find it. So, so what we're doing is we're going to be reviewing portfolios live, and that's the whole idea with that is we're gonna take your portfolios. We're gonna discuss what it takes to put together a storyboard portfolio, and also how to prepare this stuff so that you can put it out there in the industry, And then we're also going to be talking a little bit more about the mentorship program. And guess what? This is the fun part of this event. We're doing a giveaway. So we're giving away 1 seat to the Story Artist Mentorship Summer Program. And you can win that prize by actually being a part of that event. So let me get the link real quick.
Next time. Take care. I actually got to bounce right before
Bye,
this meeting
guys.
gets some.
All right. And I'll put the link in the chat for you guys here. It's free portfolio review. We got a shortened link there for Bitly for everybody. And yeah, great. And you guys can always DM me here on Discord as well. So keep it up, and I look forward to seeing more of your stuff in the intro course. Okay, talk to you guys soon. I'll see you later too. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody.
Bye.
Cheers.